Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Young Talkers podcast. It's been a pretty chaotic week. There's a lot has happened, and first and foremost, I'd like to introduce you to our guest today. This is Amandeep, a good friend of uh, Soham's and mine as well, and he'll be joining us on this podcast just as a guest. He'll be giving us his input on what's happened in this week, and let's start with the biggest, the most hot, like the biggest topic that is taking the world by storm, and that is Donald Trump, the President of the United States, the First Lady, and a lot of the White House officials contracting COVID-19. So, Soham, you can begin the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty big news. Once that came out, the stocks, US stocks plummeted by 400 points. And the fact that it's only like a month before the election makes it even bigger.
Yeah, and the bigger fact, I mean, if you don't know, this virus, according to his health advisors, he had contracted it 72 hours before. And he still attended a fundraiser despite knowing that he had contracted the virus, which is right after the debate. So he has now tested positive. The First Lady has tested positive. There's also Kellyanne Conway who has tested positive. There's a couple of White House reporters who have tested positive. Also, a governor, I believe, called Chris Christie has tested positive. So there's a whole lot of people tested positive. Amandeep, your input, please.
Yeah, so let's see on how this entire thing started. So, according to the reports, actually Hope Hicks was the one from the entire team who actually brought the virus in, and he used to actually reportedly he used to go on Air Force One with the president, and recently he went to Ohio for his presidential debate. So I guess that was the place where he got the virus.
And Hope Hicks, she was seen without mask at the presidential debate, and therefore Joe Biden and his wife were also tested. Luckily, they were tested negative so far. But scientists are saying that, I mean, like experts are saying that Joe Biden could still get a positive result in the coming days because it takes different amount of time in each person for the actual
Virus
thing
to
to show.
show up.
Luckily, right now, if you hate Trump, then not luckily, but obviously we do not want anybody, no matter how much you hate them, to anything bad to happen to them. Luckily, he has no fever today. A report came out. Just
Yeah. Although he has been
So he was,
hospitalized,
yeah.
he's doing a little better.
Yeah, so actually, yeah, so he was moved to a military hospital today, I guess. And yeah, so I think the main risk with him related to the doctors himself. So the doctors have reported that he is a high risk patient because of his, bad habits. He doesn't follow a regular, eating and the exercise and, you know, just the normal bad habits which we also follow in our everyday lives. The main reason is he being overweight is a very big risk, and he being a 75-year-old man is like, what can happen, because according to the reports, 8 out of 10 people in US have actually died because of COVID, and 8 out of 10 were actually 65-year-olds.
Oh, okay. So
or
8
more
out
than
of
that.
10 people above 65 have passed away of COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. So now, I mean, obviously we know he's a high risk patient. Uh, and that's also to the fact that he hasn't really been following the guidelines. Him being the president, you'd expect him to follow them the most, but he has called it a flu. He's always considered it not to be a very big deal, but now that he's finally contracted it, I think that should change his attitude towards the virus and how to deal it and how to tackle it, right? So
and I mean, luckily for his fans, he's not injecting bleach in himself like he told people to do early on in the virus. So
yeah,
there's
Yeah.
that. There's that, and also there's this conspiracy theory going on right now. I don't believe in it, but it's really taking fire that this is all planned, meaning that Trump is using this. There's this lot of things happen in the US election known as the October surprise, where the incumbent president does something to like boost his election chances. And there's this rumor going around. My mom has been spreading it. My dad has been spreading it. Where Trump has done this on purpose. He has no corona, and
Wow.
he's gonna say, "I actually use hydrochloroquine to treat myself," and then all of a sudden his support will go up. But
But
obviously, this is just a
this is
rumor.
obviously just a conspiracy theory, and as we know that a lot of people also are theorizing that he's done this to get sympathy. If that is the case, which I'm sure is not, if that is the case, that's definitely not going to work in his favor.
This thing actually pops up a question in my mind. What happens if Joe Biden also gets the virus? What if both of the candidates, like both of them, get virus? So what
That
will
would
happen then?
And that's exactly what a lot of people fear, that the country will dwell into chaos, because there is a action for when a president gets something and he's unable to perform his duties. But there's not an action for when both people running for president have it.
Yeah.
So let's give a scenario that both of them do get it. What is going to happen?
So most probably there are some reports that so the main date is November 3rd. We all know that, but
Yeah.
the main thing is that which everybody is like very panicked about is that what if Joe Biden also gets it and both of them are on the on the hospital beds due to COVID.
So I think
So any updates on that?
what could happen is that Vice President Mike Pence becomes the president, and I'm not sure if I will there be another candidate to go against him, or is he just then president for the next 4 years? Because this has never happened in the history of any country before.
I
What could
think,
Yeah. So yeah,
oh,
yeah,
Amandeep,
yeah.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
so
So there's one. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead. Sorry about that. So the one thing is that both of the parties can opt for other people to stand up for the presidential side. So if Joe Biden and Donald Trump, so Donald Trump is from the Republic side, Joe Biden is from the other side. So if both of them gets the virus, so it's about the parties who they are not like now who is going to stand up. It's all about that, and they
So
can they can actually they have the power to do that. So let's see about that. Yeah, you can go ahead now. So
okay, I think that either one thing, if Joe Biden gets it, Trump, we know the action, what happens, that either Kamala Harris will now become the candidate because she's the vice presidential candidate, or whoever placed second place in the primaries, which is Bernie Sanders, will get it. I feel that will be the action. But obviously, we do not know if this will happen. At this moment in time, Joe Biden is president, and at this moment in time, we just had one of the worst debates in the history of America in Trump versus Joe Biden, where both candidates were hurling insults at each other, where Donald Trump wasn't letting Joe Biden speak. And whenever Joe Biden did speak, he oftentimes did not answer the question. When he was asked about what his tax plan would be, he started talking about government spending and how Trump has reduced it to too little. And when he was asked about the Green New Deal, he mentioned how he supports the Green New Deal. And then 2 minutes later, he mentioned how he doesn't support the Green New Deal.
So it was literally like two kindergartners throwing insults at each other, trying to incite a fight. It literally felt like they would start throwing punches at each other in the next 5 minutes. So no one's questioning the fact that America's democracy is nothing but a reality show. And that, I mean, that can be seen in how this year has been, how lightly the most deadliest virus has been taken.
one thing is like one question will do arise in every single American, that is this the time when people should get serious about the virus? I think so. Like we have seen people wearing nothing, wearing no protective gear to protect themselves from the virus. There have been some rallies in which people are saying say no to mask, don't wear mask, and mask is a way to like manipulate yourself. Somebody was saying that there are chips in the mask and all of that nonsense. So is this the time when people should actually get serious with the virus, especially in America?
I mean, people should have been serious all along. There are over 100K deaths in America. and like the amount of cases in almost what at least a quarter of the states are rising every day still, and this has been happening since March. So it's now or never. It's if especially with the election coming up, and many states are rejecting mail-in ballots. So meaning you have to go in person to vote. Meaning when you vote, which is your basic right, you could contract a virus.
It's pretty messed up because if the global leaders, for example, if I'm living in America and my president is getting the virus, it will bring a sense of insecurity in every single person who lives out there. Like he will feel insecure, he or she will feel insecure.
Hmm.
That yeah, if the presidents are getting virus, so what about us? What about the people who don't have the even like sufficient money to go to the hospital and opt for a ventilator? What about them?
Exactly.
It's all about them because
I think,
presidents will get ventilators, they will get special treatment, but what about the common people?
yeah.
And obviously, we were not reassured at all at the debate which candidate will do this because, first off, Joe Biden, he wasn't allowed to speak by Trump.
Trump recovers because he has a debate, he has an election uh, coming up, and I hope it's a fair and square election. I don't wish harm. I don't wish him bad. I don't wish anything bad to happen to him. I just hope the election is fair, and I hope both candidates get a chance to prove their points, and hopefully America does change and good does happen. Thank you, Amandeep, for joining us in this talk, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks about that. Yeah, thanks.
You,
Thanks, bro.
thanks to Amandeep for giving his input. It was very good, very nice of him to join us. And now moving on to some somber news where a
Uh,
Dalit woman.
yeah, a Dalit woman in UP had has been gang raped by upper caste men, and no one's really surprised by this because this has become the new norm in India for a woman or anyone for that matter to just get raped, and her family's voice get completely shunned, and they need to wait years and years to get justice. But I think this case is a lot more different than a lot because we certainly haven't seen so much of drama revolve around such a thing. Because if you've been following the news, the media for the past couple of months has been strictly focused on talking about Bollywood actors, Bollywood celebs doing drugs, and how that's literally the biggest thing happening in India. They never talked about a farmers bill being passed and how there were thousands and thousands of farmers protesting against that. They never talked about the news that actually matters. And with such a big shock to the nation coming, I'm seeing news channels change their direction and finally moving away from topics that give them more TRPs to topics that actually matter. And coming back to the Hathras rape case, gang rape case, it's very important because this feels like something planned, and I'll explain this to you. Because if you've seen some of the footage on the news channels, there are more than 100 police officers surrounding the homes of the victim's family and not letting them out. And late at the night they burnt the victim's body to avoid there from being any evidence that it was even a rape, to avoid there to like literally not have a post-mortem take place, to there for there to be a proper report. They have burnt the body, and the family, the sisters, the brothers, the fathers, the mothers of that woman were not even able to see her for the last time, weren't even able to attend her getting burnt and her last rites taking place basically. And only way this has been reported to us is by the media, which has been storming that area and is confronting the police. A lot of anchors have been asking police pretty tough questions and have been taking the risk, basically risking their jobs, risking their livelihoods to some extent. And what is happening is that after the body has been burnt, the UP's chief minister, Yogi Adityanath, is asking for a CBI investigation, and the family is asking for there to be a Supreme Court case against the men who did such a heinous crime. And Soham, I know you've researched on this as well. What have you found out and what have you learned?
What makes this even worse is that the victim's brother, he stated that first they obviously took the body without their permission. Next, when they tried to protest it, the family, police beat up members of the family, even the woman members, which is truly unethical by the police and showing what the government is doing with law and order.
Because exactly, I want people to know that you cannot blame the police, you need to blame the government, because in India, state governments control the state police, except for Delhi, which the police in Delhi is controlled by the central government, but in states the state governments control the state police. So everything you see the police doing here is basically what the state government wants it to do. So you can blame the officers for being disgusting and dishonest officers and not doing their job properly, but you also have to blame the politicians who are controlling them, who are basically using them as puppets. uh, I mean, definitely this sheds light on also the caste system in India, which is 1,000-year-old system, which divided basically people into 4 different castes. I'm just sort of shortening it down, but it's a lot more complicated than that. But the lowest caste are the Dalits, and the upper castes are known as Brahmins. So you can clearly see that because they are the upper caste, because they are richer, and because they are the hierarchy, how have the Dalits been treated throughout this investigation? They have been kicked, they've been bashed, and there was also a leaked recording of a police officer threatening the family, telling them that the media, I'm not quoting right now, but this is what he said. I'm translating it in English, that the media will remain here for a couple of more days, but once they leave, it's up to you whether you want to change your claim. The police wants the family to say that this was not a rape, but a family dispute that resulted in a murder. And yeah, go ahead, Soham.
And the family even stated that they were attempting to give a settlement, meaning a money settlement. And the family said a great line that they want justice, not money. And the fact that the police even attempted to do this, to just hush money them, kind of, is showing what type of training the local government provides.
And it's high time that people realize that these this is what the system has been ever since the start. The caste system has existed for the past 1,000 years. This isn't one case. uh, Dalits face this type of oppression, they face this type of uh, racial bias every single day. You know, there used to be a time where they couldn't even walk in the shadow of a Brahmin. This used to exist. Today, in today's if you go to small villages, if you see Dalits during their marriages, they're not allowed to climb the horse. Do you see the levels of discrimination that I'm talking about? And the average viewer needs to know about this. They don't need to know whether Bollywood celebrities are smoking marijuana and doing weed. That is not what the world or the country is going through right now. This is what the country is going through. This is the rotten system that we're living in for the past god knows how long. And finally some light is being shed on it, and I hope this continues till the end of the year. This story should not be stopped. The media should remain at that house until justice is delivered, because each and every single family member at that home is at risk. There could be a fake case against them. The police can do anything when the media is not around. Just we saw with Vikas Dubey, who is a gangster who was shot in a encounter, and the media was following his caravan, but the police basically barricaded them and stopped them. Let that not happen with this case. Let that not happen with this case. Let the media not stop. They should stay there and keep questioning the police. Also, it came out that a brother from the family in the first couple of hours of what had happened escaped from the home, luckily, and was able to get out and finally spoke out to the media. Do you see, this is a state government telling the state police to make sure nothing gets out, and this rape case was never a rape. Make sure no one knows about it. Make sure it's just declared a murder in some family dispute. This is how far they're ready to go to protect some upper caste boys, some really disgusting men who deserve the worst.
And this caste-based discrimination, like it's Dalits, even when immigrating to America, even when immigrating to international areas, cannot escape this. This past year, there's a lawsuit against Cisco where multiple Dalit employees were denied promotion, and that it was given to upper caste newbies, meaning freshers out of college. So the fact that the media cares more about some Bollywood superstars over true discrimination, true things that need to be shed light on, just shows what is going on, like what is the current state.
Exactly. And I mean, I'm glad when I hear people who are my friends, classmates talk about this, because this is what matters at the end of the day. This is India was built on secularism, which is to respect each ethnicity and religion with the same amount of respect. And this is what it comes down to. We're not abiding the constitution. We're not following the laws written by Dr. Ambedkar. So this is questioning India. Are we still Indians if we do not talk about this? When we talk about Deepika Padukone going in front of the narcotics bureau and testifying or whatever, that's not India. This is India. This is what it's come to. This rape case shows that India isn't secular anymore. We're not respecting each ethnicity. The Dalits aren't being given the same amount of respect as the Brahmins or someone of an upper caste. I think this is the most important event that has occurred in this year, and I hope it gets the coverage it deserves, and I hope justice is delivered, because if it's not done in the next year or the next 2 years, then it'll be forgotten and people won't even act like this ever happened. So uh, thank you for joining us on this very interesting talk and a very important talk that me and Soam and Amandeep also had today. We're sorry Veer couldn't join us, but uh, we've really seen a lot of horrifying stuff happen this week. A lot of messy stuff happened this week. It's been quite a week, and just we hope you guys are doing well, and please do speak up if you see injustices taking place around you, uh, anywhere. Don't be scared. So go ahead,
And
Swam.
remember to donate to Spark a Change Foundation. They're
Remember to
trying to
donate
help.
donate to Spark a Change. They help vulnerable families during this pandemic, help them with food, help them with the necessities, and they do not discriminate, obviously. So it's very important that you donate. And just by watching this, you're helping us a lot. Just by sharing this, you're helping us a lot. Let the fight not end today. Let the fight not end tomorrow. Let it carry on till justice is delivered. Thank you very much for joining us on this endeavor.